right, you know what to do. Please welcome Reb Brown, Captain America, Uncommon Valor, and so much more. Yeah, thank you for being here. Is a mic right on the table for you?
This work right now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Thank you for coming, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. All right, do you want to get right to questions, or you have a few little things you'd like to say?
Well, as far as doing Captain America, it was wonderful.
A little closer to the mouth.
Doing Captain America was a wonderful experience. I mean, working with Christopher Lee, I got to work with him in Howling, too. I mean, I had such a good time doing that. And I mean, hey, no CGI here. It's me.
Yeah.
And it just was a blast. I mean, when we were in Venice Beach, I got a quick story to tell you about Venice Beach. We were down there filming, and I come out of my motorhome in the full Captain America regalia, okay? I'm like this. And I look out, and there's a guy over on a wall, okay? And he's blinking at me. And he says, I got to stop drinking. Anyway, so of course I go. He comes back on the wall, and he looks up and he goes, maybe not. Yeah, but I mean, it just was a blast doing that show, and then with Christopher Lee and everything. And I mean, who wouldn't enjoy running 55 miles an hour, pulling people out of dune buggies and doing some of the stuff I did? I loved it. I really did. I really enjoyed my career and being in movies. In fact, a quick story for you. I was bouncing in a bar when I was discovered. I was throwing two guys out. An agent was up on top, and he says, hey, kid, you want to be an actor? I says, just a moment. Well, I banged these guys' heads together, threw them out the door, and I said, oh, what would I do? He says, that'll work.
Wow.
Okay, any questions you guys?
Was that for the movie Hardcore?
No. Yeah, with George C. Scott. Oh, quick story about that with George C. Scott. When I did Hardcore with him, we were in San Diego, and I had to throw him down these stairs, okay? And he looked at me and he goes, Reb, do it for real. And I smiled and said, okay. And I took him down the stairs, and I slammed him into the car down there, and he looked at me and he goes, that was perfect. I said, I've done it before. All righty, you guys. Anything?
Got a question? Just raise your hand. Can you tell us a little bit about, right down by your chin?
Yes, dear.
Can you tell us a little bit about working with Gene Hackman in Uncommon Valor?
Gene Hackman was a wonderful experience. I mean, there's a class act there. When we did that film, it was really inspiration to a lot of vets, because a lot of vets had a hard time explaining, what it was like to the camaraderie. And I had a bunch of them come up to me and thank me. Said, because of you, my wife understands. Couldn't ask for more than that. And Gene Hackman was great. I remember the first day on the set, he says, you guys going to wear makeup? I said, no. And he says, oh, I'm not either. He said, this is going to work out well. And we had a good time on that movie. We really did. In fact, Tex Cobb, the first time I met him, he did one of those swing kicks and bounced me in the nose. He says, I'm sorry, Reb, I'm not used to the boots yet. But we had, it was a fabulous time. We got to film, and, Patrick was in it also, and God rest his soul. But we had a good group of guys and a lot of fun on that. We really did. And in fact, one of the things that I got to do that really excited me was when we blew up the bridge, not the one in Hawaii, but the other one, the practice bridge. I got to push the button. And I went... And one of the things that I remember from Uncommon Valor is that one line I had when I was demonstrating the explosives. It says, most human problems can be solved by the proper amount of explosives. And I really enjoyed doing that. And those guys, Uncommon Valor was a spectacular experience for me. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And I have a little story. I was in Westwood with some buddies, and we went to see the movie, and Well, if you've seen the movie, I don't make it off the bridge. So the guys, this little boy comes up to me after the movie. He goes, I'm so glad you really didn't die. He said, thank you very much. Yeah, but that was a great experience. I really enjoyed myself on that, and I'm proud of that movie. I did one, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, called Death of a Soldier. That was one I did with James Coburn. I was actually nominated in Australia for Best Actor. I was a serial killer. I did it well. And I've done a bunch of different things in my career in movies and stuff like that. And I've always treasured the fact that the people enjoyed it and enjoyed what I was doing. Any questions?
All right, just raise your hand. Got one right over here in the front. We'll get you next.
What was your favorite genre of film that you liked to do? Was it the action adventure? Was it the fantasy? You were in what, Sword and the Sorcerer?
Yeah. The thing is, Captain America and of course the action adventures, people ask why I always screamed, because I enjoyed it. But with Captain America, it was such a thrill to be able to play a character that was just all good. It was so positive. There was nothing negative about it. And I enjoyed it very much. And the action adventures, I had a blast doing those. In fact, when I was doing Yor over in Turkey, which they named a country properly, I was over there and I'm swinging that wooden axe, and I'm in the mud and stuff going all over the place. And I said, I really like this stuff. This is fun. And it's just I had a blast doing it. I mean, to be able to do stuff like that and be out there and have fun doing it, enjoying it, it was spectacular. I really had a good time. And this action adventure, anything. And when I did the serious stuff, when I did Leonsky, when I did Death of a Soldier, I did that so well that that was pretty heavy duty, playing a murderer, and the way I worked was I just accepted who I was, and it was touch and go a couple of times on that thing. It was pretty scary doing that, and then I developed a weird laugh, and people say, I want your voice. He's in trouble. And I've had a wonderful time doing the movies that I've done. I mean, I've done, a lot of different countries in Czechoslovakia, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Philippines, and meeting people all around the world. In a lot of these places, when they see a guy like me coming in, the people aren't that big, and all of a sudden they go, who the heck is this? In fact, I went to Mass in the Philippines one time, and there's about 4 inches left, and 3 more people got in next to me. I thought, oh, okay, that's how it is here. But I had a wonderful time. I've had it, and I'm really thrilled that you guys enjoyed it. Any other questions?
Do you feel more comfortable with television when you're doing television or movies? I know there's a big difference.
Well, like in the movies, it's a longer production. Like Uncommon Valor was 14 weeks, okay? And I hate to say it, but Yor took 6 months. I thought I was going to come back and smell like lamb. But movies are something, especially when it's something you really enjoy doing. It's a blast, and the TV is fun too. Like when I did Happy Days and Three's Company and those things. In fact, on Happy Days, when we did the shoot on that, Donnie Most was the guy that I lifted up in the air and put up against the wall. When we did it in the rehearsal, he would put his feet on my thighs. Okay, and when we did the actual shoot, I just picked him up and put him on the wall. And he goes, Reb, do you realize what you did? I said, I was pretty pumped.
Wow.
And then in Three's Company, when we were doing the rehearsals, I kicked down the door, everything was smooth. And then I go to do it in the actual show again, and the adrenaline's running, and I kick the door down, and part of the set comes down right in front of us. And John Ritter's hanging over my left shoulder. He goes, way to go, Reb. Nice job. Then I have to go in and get kicked out by Chrissy. But other than that, it was okay. I've had, as far as experiences on these different things that I've done, I mean, it's been wonderful. The people I've gotten to work with. I mean, James Coburn, George C. Scott, John Lithgow in a movie that was about tripwire vets called Distant Thunder. And that was really special to me too. And of course the action adventures. Excuse my language, but I like to kick ass and take names. Any other questions?
Right here.
You and Chris Evans have a relationship?
We're not going steady.
Not a relationship. As both being Captain America.
No, I've never met him. I got to go to the first Avengers, and I never got into one of the shows. I mean, as you can see, I'm not CGI. Okay. And most of these guys are a lot smaller than I am. And I mean, the only guy I think is probably the same size as me is Lou Ferrigno, and Sam Jones. But those other guys are smaller. And they want to just kind of keep it the way it is. They kind of keep it blended that way. But I've never met him. I never have. I'd like to someday. I think, anybody that does Captain America and does a good job of it is a positive force, because it is something to be really proud of. Like he says in his movies, I can do this all day. I think that's fabulous. I really do.
One of our
hang on. Okay, go ahead.
One of our questions in our trivia contest was about a movie that you did back in the 70s, a John Milius film with Jan Michael Vincent, William Catt, and Gary Busey called Big Wednesday.
Yes.
What can you tell us any stories about the filming of that?
Oh yeah, that was an absolute blast. When I went in to interview for that, John Milius had me come in and he says, "Okay, you're in this thing, and these guys come in and they're going into the party and they're not surfers, and you got to get rid of them, okay?" And I thought, dude, I can do that. And so he asked, what I could do, and I showed him how I could handle myself. I actually had 14 amateur fights, and I got black belts in 2 different things, and purple belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So I went in there and did this scene for him. He says, "Yeah, okay, that'll work." So we go to do the movie, and I never surfed before, but actors will say, "Oh yeah, I can do that." So other than going through that and some of the things that I went through, learning how to surf, and I'd be out there paddling around, growling, trying to get to waves, just because I wasn't very good at it. But I learned how to do it, and I did it very well. And with Gary Busey, oh my God, what a character! Okay, we're going out to surf at Coho, and he says, "Hey, Ray, you want to get stoned?" I said, "Not at the present time, Gary. I think I'd rather go out and surf first." Yeah, but those guys, Big Wednesday, we had such a blast. The fight scene in there. Originally, some of the other guys were going to be more involved in it. Okay, but after Milius saw me, what I did and everything, and he said, "Okay, it's the enforcer. You're going to do it." And I said, "Okay." And Al Wyatt, God rest his soul, he passed away, but he was one of the guys who was called Big Al, and he threw a punch at me and hit me with a left hook, okay, like that. And the camera was over here, and Milius just said, "It's not real. It's not real." Boy, I just got that look in my face. Anyway, one of the things you learn in the acting business is you've got to pay back people that abuse you. So when he's up against the corner over there, I buried my left fist into his gut about 6 inches, and I got respect. And with that whole thing, I mean, the camaraderie on that movie was fantastic. Jan Michael Vincent and Billy Catt and those guys were wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yes?
The microphone for you here.
Real quick. And I have a quick question before you get there. Did you do a lot of your stunts or work with coordination?
Yeah, my body tells me so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been banged around a lot. I mean, like on the Captain America, most of the guys, a lot of the stunts were done on the motorcycle by the guys, and they had this one day where everybody was gone, and the director wanted me to do this one thing coming around the corner really fast. So I said, sure. But one of the things on the motorcycle is at the fairing on it would shut off the gas to the accelerator, okay? And so when I turned it, it stopped. And I go, what's this? And then when I turned it back on, to the right, boy, it would just jet it off, and I went off the back like this. Boom, boom, boom. It hit my head, hit my hip, and I heard the director say, "Did we get the shot?" So needless to say, they really appreciate you.
All right, we got a question for you right here.
There was a sort of odd movie I enjoyed growing up with Dirk Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
Any memories from that set? Or
Absolutely. What happened on that movie was, they wanted a guy to play asshole football player. And I fit in. Anyway, I went and interviewed over at Universal. And at Universal, I went and read, and they accepted me for the role. This is through the agent that discovered me in the bar, okay? And I did that movie, and then working with Strother Martin and Dirk, and the fight scene in there, I never learned how to do, this is before I really learned how to do something, just not full force, okay? So when we were doing some of the stuff there, I was really banging Dirk. I was really tackling him pretty hard. And here's the snake in that movie, okay, the one that bites me, it really does. Okay, I'm in the shower, and they let this thing go in there, and the trainer says, just step on it lightly and you'll be okay. I said, okay. Well, I didn't know where he was, and I stepped on him, and I hit him again, and he hit me twice. Bang, bang. And that blood coming out is mine. And the next day, the snake guy he says, you still here? Yeah, but that was it. And then Strother Martin was just absolutely amazing in that. He was a great guy. I really enjoyed him. And Heather Menzies too, who was also in the first Captain America. She was just a lovely, lovely girl. And we had a good time in that. They go, Reb, you enjoy this, don't you? I said, yeah. And that was how I got started in it. That right back then. And in that movie it was Zanuck Brown, and it did very well. And I actually had one of the snakes wrap around my arm and my neck and everything like that. And they said, "How did it feel?" Creepy. But it was really different and really an exciting thing. That snake was a little bit spooky. Any other questions?
The audition for I'm over here. The audition for Captain America, was that quite a stressful process for you? That's an iconic character. Were there many other actors up for that role?
No, they just decided that, I was I wasn't under contract at Universal at the time, but I think I had been. And Alan Balter, the producer of the Captain America, was also the producer of $6 Million Man. So we sat down and had lunch, and it was like two moose meeting in the wood. It was perfect. We just got along, and he said, "Okay, you're my guy." and I just was so thrilled. And I had seen it, when I was a kid, the cartoon of Captain America, and I just loved it. I loved the shield. I loved all that stuff, and I just said, "Oh man, this is cool." And so all my buddies, they said, "How you doing, Reb?" And I said, "Just call me Steve." But it was thrilling for me to be able to do that and have a good time. People have often asked me about, how come it didn't go to series? Well, I got a story about that. After the second one we did, CBS wanted to buy it for 6 episodes. And what happened is that Universal lost the rights to the licensing fee. When the Hulk was paying $2,500 an episode. They wanted $50,000 an episode for the Captain America. And that would have meant that I was riding around the motorcycle in the living room, basically. So that was it. That's what happened on that. But I wish that it could have gone, because I just was thrilled with it. I had a wonderful time.
How was Christopher Lee work with?
Oh, Christopher Lee was just a wonderful human being, and I got to work with him in the Howling too, and I got to know him better. And that man spoke 8 languages, okay? And he was awesome. He just was so cool. we sat there in our trailer at times and laughing. And I mean, he'd go around and he'd speak Russian. We were filming in Czechoslovakia when we did this, the Howling. And he would speak Russian, speak German, French. And I'd say, I'll speak English. And we just got along so great. And he just was wonderful. One of the ladies on that thing was, let's just say that she was different, and he says, it's obvious, she's schizophrenic. And I love that man. He was a wonderful human being. In fact, when we were filming the church that we filmed in, he had trained the guys that were in the SAS as assassins to get this general from the German army. And I never had seen him get emotional before, but he got emotional. You could see the bullet holes in the actual church where it took place. But that was really something to see that from him. He was quite a guy.
Question right here. I gotcha.
Is there a role that you haven't played that you always wished you could? Some character.
A Jedi Knight. Yeah, a story about that. Just a quickie. My wife would go to ballet class 3 times a week. And this is back when they just had the 3 Star Wars movies, okay? And I'd be listening to, every time she'd go, I'd watch one of those movies, The New Hope, and then, the Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. And she'd come home and she'd hear the music. She says, honey, what's wrong? I want to be a Jedi Knight. But that's it. That's what I would want to be.
Got time for a few more.
Anybody else?
Did you have much work with Paul Schrader other than Hardcore, or was that the only...
Excuse me?
Paul Schrader, working with Paul Schrader from he's the director of Hardcore. Did you have much to do with him?
Oh, that was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that one was George C. Scott.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, well, he knew that I actually got into that because of John Milius, and and he knew that I could handle myself, so I ended up getting that role. But a story about George C. Scott that was absolutely amazing was, I was just starting out as an actor, just beginning then, and we were doing a scene up in supposedly this bordello before I threw him out, and he was doing a scene. And I mean, this was just an intense scene. And he shut it off and goes, is that okay? And I'm sitting there going, wow, man, that's cool. Can you teach me to do that? He said, I don't think so, kid. Yeah, but Paul Schrader, he was quite a guy. I mean, he leaned down one time and all these pills fell out of his pocket, these purple pills. And I go, what are those? Those are Black Beauties. I go, what are those? He says, you don't want to know.
Wow. All right. Want to get one more in? Right there. Oh, we got a couple more. Let's get both. You get him, I'll get him. You first. Here you go.
Any good stories about RoboWar?
Oh, yeah, that was a blast. We were over in RoboWar when we were doing that in the Philippines, okay? And the thing about that was Bruno Mattei, and he was the director on that. And we were doing that movie, and we were filming at some of these places that, some of the bugs there were just like, you could hit them and hit them and hit them, and they go. They're just big dudes. But the RoboWar was a lot of fun, and when we were doing that there, and with but they said, now Reb, make sure you don't pull the trigger on this. Because it was live ammo. You work 15, 16 hours a day, and all of a sudden you're going, don't pull the trigger. Don't pull the trigger. But these guys, a lot of the Italian actors and stuff on there, it was a lot of fun. And we played basketball, against the Filipinos, okay? And we got out there, and we, who sees a 6-foot Filipino? All right, we get out there in a local square, and we're out there to play, and of course, they say, well, we're going to take care of you. Okay, oh yeah. So we're out there, we're playing, and these guys come out, and I blocked this shot on this one guy, And the whole crowd goes, ooh. But we had a lot of fun there. And these guys, they work hard. They really work hard, and it's difficult at times because of the rainstorms and some of the bugs that are always, you can hear them everywhere. You have to stop at 4:00 because of the rainstorms and the bugs. I mean, they're like, I guess, cicadas or something like that. And they're really just, piercing, And then he says, well, just turn off the volume and we won't do dialogue. But we had fun with those guys. They were good people out there. A lot of fun on that. And then, the poor guy that was doing the robo guy, I mean, I couldn't believe he'd get in that thing and oh my God, how hot it was out there. You just, thing about the Philippines is you go there and if you weigh 230, you're coming back at 210. You just sweat constantly, but like I say, I enjoy doing that stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. Another one that I did for Bruno Mattei was Strike Command. And in Strike Command, that was, I could always tell what was going to happen the next day because the director was listening to either Rambo or some of these other ones, and he was copying them. I said, where'd you get this? Rambo. Okay. So that's what it is, but that's Philippines. That's what it is. You come off the airplane, it's 8:00 in the morning, and it's 110 degrees. You go, oh, okay. And you're in your room, and you can see these little lizards, the geckos. They're going across, and they're eating the mosquitoes. So it's different. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, we got one over here to your right. Got a question?
Thanks for being here. And I heard you mention surfing. What was the hardest thing you had to learn for our job?
Is to make sure that you catch the right wave. Because on surfing, it's all about, making sure that you get on it and you get away from everybody else. Because when I first learned, I learned down in San Onofre from the Paskowitz, okay? And there were some old-time Malibu surfers down there. And he says, I remember this guy's name was Tube Steak. He says, hey, Reb. He says, any of these little guys getting you away, just run over them. Okay? So I practiced that, and I got pretty good at it. And but I would come down the front of a wave, and I had a number of times where I'd have these people get in front of me, and I'd flip their boards up like this. They go, oh, it's you, okay. And then after Big Wednesday, when I'd be surfing out at Malibu, I'd see something happen where somebody's being in an altercation or something like that. And that's ridiculous to get into a fight over a wave, okay? And I go over there, I says, now knock it off. He says, who are you to say that? And I says, ask around. I apologize, sir. But that's it. But I love surfing. It was just an absolute blast. I got to surf in Hawaii with Uncommon Valor, too. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I didn't surf in Big Wednesday in Hawaii because I would have died.
All right, we got a final question for you right back here, and then I think after this, Reb's going back to his table. So
come see me.
If you got any other questions, come on, see him, get an autograph, and I'm sure he's got great stories. So here's our final question.
Thank you for coming tonight. Why am I forgetting the name of the movie? The movie You Met Your Wife. Thank you for that. And what's the legacy of Space Mutiny? There it is. Space Mutiny, what's the legacy for you? Because over the last 25 years or so, it had to have gotten some more attention because of another television show.
They say that I met my wife on that, but I met my wife on the Ted Knight Show, which she was a regular on, okay? And the first day I told her I loved her. The second day I told her I'd marry her. And it's 41 years later. We're still together. And as far as...
Wow, nice.
As far as Space Mutiny, I've never been called so many names in my life. They ask, sometimes when I sign the autographs, they'll ask me to put one of those names in. I say, well, okay, whatever you say. Please forget it. But thank you for asking that question.
Oh, and thank you for being here. What a pleasure. Reb Brown, Captain America, Uncommon. You know what to do. He's going to be heading back to his table to sign and hang out with you guys. Such a pleasure. Once more, Reb Brown. Thanks for bringing it. Excellent.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Phantom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.